Hello and welcome to David Speaks, my YouTube channel. So, 3-0 whitewash for Australia. It was a, it was actually in the end a simple win. And well, firstly, I want to tell I'm not actually a fortune teller or anything. I I actually mentioned in my video after first test that this is going to be a 3-0 whitewash most likely. Even I apologize to the Pakistani supporters. Well, it was it was just that that team was not looking like actually challenging Australia, but actually in the next two test matches they actually played well. They did play well, um, but they actually won once again. When they were about to get on top, they would rather drop catches or give Australia a sniff. They would not close the game out. Fielding has actually let Pakistan down here the most because they dropped a lot of catches in the second test. That Mitchell Marsh catch, if that would have been taken, I think they would have won that test match. Same here in the third test match, they dropped Mitchell Marsh again. Even they took a lead, they didn't bat well. Let's get on to the game. Um, Pakistan actually won the toss on day one and elected to bat. Last time they made a pathetic decision of fielding first, to be honest. Um, According to me, that was pathetic call because you you never um, you never actually win the toss and actually field first in a test match. That's my thinking because no one likes to bat last. So I was actually pretty surprised with that decision. But this time they batted first, and same thing, their batting didn't do well. They were 227 for 9, but then Amir Jamal, I think he's a good find for Pakistan. On this tour, he's picked up 17 wickets. No, 18 wickets, beg your pardon. He picked up 18 wickets, and that terrific innings in the first innings to single-handedly get Pakistan to a competitive total, which was 313. Um, and and then they knocked over Australia for 299. Mitchell Marsh, another brilliant innings of 50. He's been the I think for me he's been the highlight of the series. Whenever Australia needed runs, he was the one to provide. He was always there. Um, and then David Warner, it's a good favour for him since Australia won that Test match. So he's had an outstanding career, and he'll be missed in Australian cricket for sure. He was their best opener. He scored the most runs by an opener in Test cricket for Australia. So he'll be missed at the top of the order. And now Australia need to actually think who will replace him, um, especially in the Test cricket. Because I think in the one-day cricket he's also retiring from the one-day cricket, but I think he will be replaced by over there Mitchell Marsh. He's been used as a makeshift opener. He's done really well, but would he be used as a permanent opener? Only time will tell. Same in the Test match. Will Travis Head be used as a permanent opener? Again, the selectors will tell. But in this Test match, when Australia were bowled out for 299, Pakistan had a chance, but then they didn't bat well. Just like it has been the story of this series, to be honest. Pakistan they didn't get their act together with the bat. Even in the first innings, they lost their 9 wickets for 227. It was only a terrific innings from Amir Jamal that actually got them to 313. In the second innings, it was even worse batting performance because they were knocked over for 130. They were 68 for 7, and no, they were actually knocked over for 130, 116, and their lead was 130. And for Australia, you give them a target of 130, it was always going to be an easy chase. Although Pakistan They did create some drama a bit early with knocking over, Usman Khawaja for a duck. But then David Warner, his last innings, his farewell innings, terrific 57. Well, he is 37, but he doesn't look like a 37. He looks much younger than that. He bats really well. He runs between the wickets like a 25-year-old. He feels like just a youngster who's just starting. So terrific fitness level even at this age, and what an end, what an absolutely brilliant end for him with a terrific innings of 57 guarding Australia over the line. Marnus Labuschagne another half century for him, and he's a really good player. We all know it was just that last year he went through a tough drought of it, but in 2019 and 2021 those stats were outstanding. Even 2022, his first 3 years were with the stats they were just outstanding, and I think it was a tough drought in 2023, but he started really well here this year, and again he's another talent as Marnus Labuschagne, and the way he's adjusted in this team in just 3-4 years and has become one of the dependable batsmen of the team. It's been well, he's got to get all the credit for that. Um, but Pakistan, actually, at the end of the day, they would think that they have underperformed for sure. They could have performed just a tad better. The best batsman, Babar Azam, he didn't even get a 50 on this tour. And if you really want to be a big player, I mean, a terrific player, a known player around the world, and a player who, and if you want your name to be on people's lips, you have to be the one who should be scoring runs abroad outside the subcontinent for an Asian batsman. I'm talking about, especially in these countries, South Africa, Australia, England, New Zealand. Babar Azam had a good tour of Australia last time, but this time around, for a batsman of his caliber, well, obviously you will be thinking that he'll be disappointed. Player like him not to get a 50, he he's a dependable player for Pakistan. They actually depend on him the most because they think that yeah he's the one who's going to score runs, and yeah the opposition people around the world they do think after firstly after he had a really good tour last time when they toured Australia, so they were expecting from him, especially when people expect you have to perform, and Babar Azam was not able to do that. So I think that was the reason, the biggest reason that the Pakistani batting lineup could not able to actually sustain or get big scores because Babar Azam was their main batsman and he was not able to score. So that actually demotivated the batting lineup. Um, and even with the ball, yeah, Pakistan had some good bowlers, but they didn't have that express pace that you need in Australia to trouble the Australian batsmen. They, I think Mitchell Stark was right. They mostly have all the medium paces. They're just like medium paces, 130, 135, and they're actually swing bowlers that the Pakistanis have. Yep, a good spell of Mir Hamza in the second test, and a good performance by Amir Jamal, but it didn't. They didn't have a team that could beat Australia in Australia. They certainly didn't have a team which could do that because the batting was uncertain. It it just revolved around Babar Azam, and he failed to deliver. And with the ball, they didn't have that hit the deck type of bowler, that express pace that they needed. They needed someone like a Harsh Rauf, to be honest. That's what I think so in Test cricket because he has the pace. He has the pace that could trouble Australia. Well, he was not there, and maybe I think they need to explore their domestic structure. Do they have bowlers that can hit the deck at a pace of like 140, 145? Maybe they need to explore that and get them into Test cricket so that it might help them on these tours when they go. But this tour for Pakistan hasn't been that great. They have never won a Test series in Australia. They have not won a Test series. I mean, they have not won a Test match in Australia since 1995. So it's been a it's not a good place for them to tour, and they have never won a Test series as well ever in their life. They've drew 3 times, but they've never won, and that continues. Even the wait for a single Test match also continues since 1995. So for them, it is obviously a tough place to tour. Australia is a tough place to tour for any team for that matter. But I think they needed that express pace type of bowler that could have actually troubled the Australian batsmen. I think they needed a few good batsmen as well, other than Babar Azam, because you can't rely on one person. You see Babar Azam, his tour he didn't make that much runs on this tour. His tour was worse than expected, and you see the whole batting lineup was like under pressure because they depend so heavily on him. In saying that, Muhammad Rizwan, well, he was a good inclusion. He didn't play the first test. In the second and the third test, he actually performed well. So, yep, that was that was a good inclusion, and he kept well as well. But same thing, only he performed. Abdullah Shafiq, he's the youngster. He actually he played one innings, which was good, like 62, but didn't get that 100. Mohammad Rizwan again 80, but couldn't able to capitalize and get it to 100. Shan Masood, the captain, he looked actually pretty good. He was very aggressive. He looked good, but same couldn't able to convert. South Shakil, well, you need to think about him. Simon Ayub, I like the look of that that might that man. He's actually a good youngster. He he made a debut this game, and I think it was a good choice because he was taking it to the Australian bowling attack. Um, Although he scored only a 30, but those 30 were he was trying to put Australia on the back foot. To be honest, he he's a youngster, and I think he should be invested on. He should be given more chances. He's a terrific player. I think so. He's the way he played with against Mitchell Stark, the way he smacked Pat Cummins on his first delivery for a boundary. He was very aggressive, and I think that's 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 the way to go. And these young stars, when they actually make a debut or anything, they give you some freshness. So I think that's a positive for them. But for Australia, there are many positives. Australia, Alex Carey, he was dropped from the one day team, so he had a pressure. Dave Warner, even before retiring, played a terrific innings. Pat Cummins, he's another highlight for Australia. Well, he has come of age as a captain this year, and the way in this series, whatever he touched turned gold. Turned gold. Whenever Australia needed a wicket, he was the one to get it. Nathan Lyon again, he bowled well. For Australia, there are many positives. Obviously, they've won the series, and that to 3-0. Marnus Labuschagne got himself back into some kind of form. So many positives for Australia. Mitchell Marsh, as I mentioned earlier in the video, he played really well in all the 3 Test matches. So next Australia's tour will be against the West Indies, and I'm looking forward to the squad actually, because who will take David Warner's place? That's a question which needs to be answered. Will they get a new opener? I mean, from who's not been in the team, or will they open with Travis Head and Usman Khawaja? Only time will tell. So that's it for this video. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, like and share with your friends. Thank you. Thanks.